Hi guys, it's Mark from France, and today we're going to speak a little bit about the Hyperstar from Haval. This buggy is something you can get than more than 10 years ago. They are still on the market, you find it, and that's why I buy one again. It's the first Hyperstar, the fourth Hyperstar I buy in the last 50 years. The first was for me, and the two others was preparation for other guys, and this one is against for me. They have changed some things on the car since beginning. You have the harder shock springs, you have the new retainer that you have on all Hobau who holds the spring with the undercup with the ball end, so you can't in each case never lose something of these three parts. That's a smart move from Hobau. In buggy it's not so useful, but it's clear in trucky or monster trucks it's something we like. I love since ever the form from this buggy. This is the brushless version. I really love the body form. It's not too bright. The design is cool, and also that the fact that the end of the truck goes way up with the wing. It's also not too big and not too heavy wing. The wing mount is in one piece. You can, because of that, not change the incidence of the wing. Clearly it's not an issue. You can make some hole mores and change the angle from the rear wing. It's not a problem. This is an old buggy, but the arms on this buggy and all the stuff is still tough, like the new Tokno SE, the new Team Esso, the new X-Ray cars. You still have a really competition toughness here. It's important for competitors to have tough cars, because if they lose a run because of a weak part, they lose the whole championships, maybe in the most of the time. So it's really important that this thing is tough. You have in the front pivot ball suspension. This is the difference between the Hyperstar and the Hyper 9. The 9 is the same platform, but you get normal suspension in front. The Hyper 8 SC is also on this platform, but have just a little difference on the front underarms. I don't know why, but they are different on the 8AC as on the buggy version. Shocks, standard by Hobau, super shocks, nothing to change, nothing to do. Many people don't like that. Many people like aluminium shock caps, but I prefer this one. This one are fixed on pivot bolts. You have no play here. All works fine, and if you break here that part, you can change it easily. It costs not much. Like ever on buggies, you have the front shocks who are really exposed to heat if you return the car, so take care of it. You have a tough front bumper, and what's cool on this one, you still have a real rear bumper like the Hyper ST Pro. Many buggies has no more rear bumpers, but you know, like me, that many times we land on the back, and this really helps to not destroy the rear of the car. The chassis is not also bright. That's why this car is also light. And we see the weight distribution in the car is really good. The wire weight is amazing. This car is really thinking out for competition and for smart look. We have here finished with a Kestel Mamba Monster X 4S, also 6S combo, but 4S LiPo in, and the short motor. I have only a 68mm motor in. This buggy weighs here in my hand 3.5 kilograms only. That's the lightest competition buggy I have in the hand this last 10 years. The second lightest is the RC8 from Team Esso, is about 3 kilo 700, and all the other stuffs are heavier. We are with all buggies in 4S between 3.7 and 3.9 kilograms. In 6S it's clear you go to from 3.8 to 4.1. This one in 6S, even if I put the bigger motor, if I put the Castleman Monster 2.2 in there and 6S LiPo, I will have a great maximum of 3 kilo 800, and that's amazing. We also have super cool looking wheels, the suspension out of the box. I make this, the box setup for the suspension, not for the diff oil. I really not like to drive too thin diff oils. Here in Europe many drive with 5,000, 7,000 and 3,000 thick oil. This is for me really too fluid. You always are on ballooning the tires. I drive 60k CST in the front, 20k CST in the rear, and now here in this one I have put 40k, 60k, 20k CST in the differential. I like my differential to be hard, to really put the traction on the ground. I like softer suspension, but I will try this one with this suspension setup. That's typically what you see on a track, because the most of the new track are really flat. You have jumps, but the field himself is flat. It's no more really a really big off-road stuff, especially when you have some fake grass on the whole the track to not have more earth or something. I also don't like the clay track. It's really, it's no more off-road, it's just really a pump track. In the car, that's what I love the most on this car. After the fact he looks really amazing, is all the stuff, the way they mount all the stuff in the buggy. You can move the battery 5 cm forwards or backwards. This is standard battery. If you use a shorty battery, it's just more incredible what you can change the weight balance. You can move the ESC from the front to the middle. Motor, you can put a short or a long can motor, it's not an issue. That's why what I don't really like on most of new competition buggies, even truggies. I hate this. I hate this on the. I had back the 870 hot body truggy, but you need to put a short motor in. I don't like it. If I have a heavy car, I would like to put a bigger motor in to have more power and less heat. Here it's not an issue, it's light, but I still can put a 47mm motor in. I prefer the bigger motor. You have less heat on the bigger motor. It's a fact. They have more torque, so they do less heat in end effect. The servo is laying down on the chassis, and you can put the wire under here. You have a wire array under the ESC to go here in the receiver box. The ESC wires can also directly go in the box. I had already, because that was the setup for my truggy hot body, I told before, short wires on. When I go to solder new wires, I will turn this. I will put this wire a little bit longer to the ESC, but I will put the wire here from the ESC directly in the receiver box. You have really nothing who lays around on this chassis, and that's a super good move from Habaw. And until now, you don't see another brand who make this so clean that this one at that time back at the time. It's just top. The battery tray is fixed on the chassis. The rear acts direct with the center diff on the chassis, and the receiver box braces the front and the battery tray together. And that's why this chassis is a little bit flex, but not really much. You have to drive one to understand what I mean. This thing is more. The first of that one comes out, if I could remember, 2005. That means 50 years ago. At that point, no other competition buggy had so much thinking on the wire array, on the weight balance. You had already so tough buggy, but this was really upper all over. You don't see much about it because Hobao is a brand who's not really it's in China and in Taiwan it's a big brand, but here in Europe or in America it's not a big brand. You get the most of the Hobao cars in USA by Hofna. Hofna, not Hofna, but Hofna. That they rebrand Hongnor and Hobao a long time, then they rebrand also TMC, the on-road car. The GTP V2 was a TMC car. Then they rebrand the Hobao VT and VS cars. Don't know what they're doing yet, but it's maybe all of the same stuff. And I really hope that Hobao will do something here to put this back on the market, because it's a really awesome, tough buggy, and I really like it. It's clear for competitioner you have issues because you cannot change the angle of the front I-arms. You have no different angle. You can change all this in the back but not on the front, and maybe the new competitor want to change all these things. The first one has spider diffs in the front and in the center. You get no more the spider diff, you become for standard diff. The diffs are on the old way of the competition. Back at that time they all want to put smaller. You have small diffs, a little bit small bearing like the first S-Works version, and that's why this truck is so light. It's tough enough, it's not an issue, he will works. Now they go back to bigger differential, to more oil in the differential. The excuses are you have a better handling, you have a better cooling from the oil, but all that is a joke because competition are all about 10 minutes. And that's why they don't care about really the heat that are in the motor or in the battery or in the differential, because in 10 minutes you cannot cook out a brushless car if you drive it normally and use a normal setup. It's clear if you're going too hard with, you're gonna cook out, but for competition, for the World Championships, it's no matter if the buggy just came to the end line at first and then die. It's no matter when it comes to the end, when it's the first, you are world champion. But we hobby drivers drive with this setup. I hope to reach. I have a 5000 milliamp battery, I have a small motor, I have a small pinion, I just have a 15 tools with an 80, I have a 1800 kV, it's not much. Maybe I just reach 70 kilometers an hour, not more. But for at the moment I'm stuck it in because of the virus, so I will drive it on my backyard small course, and I will see what happens to heat and what happens to the runtime. And maybe a day we're can go out and I will put a 6S in and go unleash this beast in the normal field, because in 6S it's clear I will have enough power. In 4S I would say 65-70 kilometers an hour. That means with the 6S LiPo, the same setup, I will reach about an 80 kilometers an hour. It's way enough to have fun in off-road with a buggy. Stay tuned guys, for see more from this buggy. If no one catch it by me, because every time I make a preparation, it's first free to buy for you. If someone wanted this buggy, just mail me and tell me how many do you want to pay for it. Don't forget I have the Castle Mamba Monster motor in, so I will give it away for free. And if no one wants it, I'm gonna drive it. I hope that no one wants it. Bye guys.